You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Friday, April 9th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, we're celebrating some big Star Trek personalities with big awards. Renowned designer John Eaves is set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award this weekend, and Picard director Hanley Culpepper has won an NAACP Image Award. Plus, I've got the answer to Tuesday's trivia question and a little something for your weekend playlist. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. All right, first up today, concept artist John Eaves is set to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award this weekend from the Art Directors Guild. The members of the guild, also known as IATSE Local 800, are honoring Eaves for his artistic contributions to science fiction, film, and television. In particular, his space vehicles, sets, and concept work for major Hollywood productions, including, of course, Star Trek. The Guild's illustrators and matte artists will bestow the award during their 25th annual ADG Awards ceremony on Saturday, April 10th. Production designer Herman Zimmerman, himself an ADG Lifetime Achievement Award winner and fellow Star Trek alum, will present the award. Tim Wilcox, ADG Illustrators and Matte Artists Council Chair, said of Eaves' achievement, "For the past 36 years, John's work as a production illustrator has been an integral part of over 100 films and television shows. From props to sets to vehicles to gadgets, and most prominent and recognizable, a small fleet of starships for the Star Trek franchise, John has inspired many and left an amazing mark on our industry. We celebrate his creativity, talent, and contributions to the craft, and honor him with this year's Lifetime Achievement Award." In his career, John Eaves has worked as an artist for some of Hollywood's most recognizable productions. Here's just a small sampling: Cowboys and Aliens, Oz the Great and Powerful, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Tomorrowland, and Godzilla, King of the Monsters. He's also still working in the Star Trek franchise, having started way back in 1994 with Star Trek Generations, and with recent credits for Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. Once again, the 25th Annual ADG Awards are happening this Saturday, April 10th, that's tomorrow, with a pre-show starting at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. The event is free with registration and it's open to the public. For more on the event, visit adgawards25.com. Now, from an upcoming award to one that was just awarded. The results are in from the 52nd Annual NAACP Image Awards, which are presented annually to recognize outstanding Black achievements in film, television, music, and literature. At this year's awards, which took place on March 27th, director Hanley Culpepper won for Outstanding Director in a Drama Series for the pilot episode of Star Trek Picard Season 1, Remembrance. We learned about the results from The Hollywood Reporter. Culpepper's win comes hot on the heels of her recent guest column in Deadline. In the piece, Culpepper addressed the importance of Star Trek's commitment toward diversity over the history of the franchise. "I'm honored to be nominated for an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Directing in a Drama Series," Culpepper wrote in the column. "The NAACP Image Awards are an appropriate venue for honoring the Star Trek universe, because the franchise has been speaking to issues of diversity and representation for well over half a century." Culpepper secured the award for Outstanding Directing in a Drama Series above fellow nominees Cheryl Dunye, Misha Green, Nzinga Stewart, and Steve McQueen. Now, Culpepper wasn't this year's only nomination from the Star Trek franchise. Star Trek Lower Decks and Lower Decks voice actor Don Lewis were also both up for awards. Lower Decks was nominated for Outstanding Animated Series, and Lewis was nominated for Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance for her work as Captain Freeman on Lower Decks. The Outstanding Animated Series award ended up going to the Disney animated series Doc McStuffins, with Doc McStuffins voice actor Laia DeLeon Hayes edging out Lewis for the voiceover win. Now, you can watch all of the nominated performances from both Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Lower Decks. Of course, they're all now streaming on Paramount+. Now, I've got the answer to Tuesday's trivia in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. All this week, I've been telling you about BetterHelp's affordable, convenient, and professional online counseling service. But you don't have to take my word for it. That's a little LeVar Burton nod. Just go to betterhelp.com/DSTN to read what other people have said about the counselors that they've worked with. While you're there, you can also check out what places like the New York Times, Self Magazine, and the Wall Street Journal have had to say about the program. Over 1 million people have used BetterHelp to take charge of their mental health, and you can too. You can start living a happier life today. And as a daily Star Trek news listener, you can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. And that's help, H-E-L-P. That's H-E-L-P, betterhelp.com/DSTN. And a big thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. Now, it's Friday. It's time for the answer to this week's Trek Trivia. On Tuesday, I asked you, isolinear chips, a form of optical storage device used all over Star Trek from the Next Generation onwards, replaced an older technology. We learned about the predecessor to isolinear chips in the TNG Season 6 episode Relics, when Scotty is surprised by the new tech. But what was it that isolinear chips replaced? The answer? Duotronic enhancers, which were common to 23rd century starships. To my knowledge, there's no canonical evidence of what color duotronic enhancers were, but in my headcanon, I'm going to go with kind of a bold primary color scheme. Something to set off main engineering nicely, and of course, pave the way for the wonderfully fluorescent isolinear chips. Personally, I'm looking forward to finding out what replaced isolinear chips. It's probably something beige. For more Trek trivia, tune in next Tuesday. Now, I've got one last thing before I go. If you're a fan of fan films about fan films and you've got some fan film time open on your fan schedule this weekend, you might want to go and have a look at the new film Interlude. Produced by Fan Film Factor's Jonathan Lane and featuring Alec Peters reprising his role as Garth of Izar, Interlude is a Star Trek fan film based on the Axanar continuity. It takes place after Prelude to Axanar and leads into the next Axanar feature coming later this year. And you can check that out on the Avalon Universe YouTube channel. Well, that's it for today's daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek News is produced by me, Alison Pitt, with selected stories by Chris Peterson. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. I'm back on Monday with more of the Star Trek news you need to know. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.